Welcome, welcome. I am Dena, and welcome to another Discussions with Dena. I tell you, I went to the store shopping yesterday, and it seems that every time I go to pick up or grab a few things today, it seems that the prices get higher and higher than it was the day before. And what is so odd is that I keep hearing politicians all over the media who insist on telling us or trying to convince us that the economy is getting better and inflation is down. And I'm not seeing it. It is not better or considered better until we can actually see the impact on our purse strings when we go to the gas station, the grocery store, when we can see it in our day-to-day life. Not only is housing expensive, but the grocery store. My goodness. And have you seen the price of gas lately? I mean, the overinflation of everything is just taking a toll on people. But the cost for simple and basic goods, it's just ridiculous, the basic prices that we are seeing today. It is at a point where it's just not realistic for many people to attain just the basic things that they need to survive. Now, which this causes one to ponder, why are housing costs just seem to jump? I mean, just overly inflate right after this COVID thing, especially when it came to buying or renting, even maintaining a home. There was an article that I read that did an analysis of this, because I am always pondering, what was the real cost of it? I understand that things happen, but why is everything so overpriced? Simple things. I purchased pot and salt. I used to go to Dollar General. It would be $1. That same pot and salt today is $4.75, and the bag is smaller. And I'm saying, how do you make this stuff make sense? I just don't believe the excuses that we are hearing. I think there is more to this, and it just doesn't make much sense to me. But anyway, there was an article that did a data analysis, and they did research that revealed a lot about what does it take to live comfortable in major cities. And they did several United States major cities. And what they found was, if you wanted to live in some of these cities, it came at a very high and expensive price. And it was based on what is comfortable. Now, your comfort and my comfort is different, meaning that there is always an exception to any rules or research or demographics that are done, because you and I may very well have different ideas or degrees of what we define as being comfortable. But this study was done by Smart Asset. It was published on March 7th, and what it did was it utilized the 50-30-20 rule that a lot of I know real estate people use this, and it is used to define and determine what is a comfortable lifestyle. And what that means is you allocate 50% of your income to basic living expenses, and then you allocate 30% of that to discretionary spending, and 20% of your income should go to saving or paying off your debts that are owed. And this is how they came up with this 50-30-20 rule. I don't know who actually sat down and came up with this, but I would do some changing of what goes here or there. And that's a subject for another day, of course. But this rule is supposed to allow you to have enough money to fund your short-term or your long-term expenses or financial goals that you may have, while still allowing you to pay for your daily living essentials. Now, Smart Asset also used the current MIT living wage calculator data to to gather some basic cost of living for single individuals with no children versus two parents that are working with two children that they are raising. So this is the analysis that they use. Now here is what the study found. It takes much more money than anyone possibly could calculate in these places to survive. Let's talk about it a little deeper. The study found that a person needs an average of $96,500 for sustainable comfort in a major U.S. city, that it was even more expensive for families who needed to make an average combined income of about $235,000 to support two adults and two children without the pressure of living paycheck to paycheck. So people need nearly six figures to live comfortably, according to this research. And that's amazing. How many people you know that are making that? Now, the research also revealed that it takes the most money to live comfortably as a single person in New York City, requiring a $66.62 hourly wage in order to make an annual salary of $138,570. Now, in 6 cities, a family must make over $300,000 to raise 2 kids comfortably. That would be 2 working adults once again. And those cities are San Francisco, San Jose, Boston, Arlington, Virginia, New York City, and Oakland, California. Those numbers were amazing to me, to raise 2 children with enough money to provide for their wants, needs, and savings. In San Francisco, it said that a family of 4 would have to make $339,123. Excuse me. San Jose, $334,547. Boston, $319,738. Arlington, $318,573. New York City, $318,406. And Oakland, California, $316,243 annually just to raise 2 children. That's amazing to see. How many people you know in these places are earning this kind of money? Not very many, of course. Now, then they did a study, and it showed that they listed 10 cities where the lowest salaries that you could live on comfortably. And what they did was they went through and listed each one of them. And one was Houston, Texas. And according to their research, if you wanted to live comfortable as a single adult in Houston, Texas, you need to earn $36.10 an hour. And your annual salary needed is $75,088 in Houston, Texas, and you can live comfortably as a single adult. Now, if you are 2 working adults with 2 children, you would need $175,219. That's combined. Then they looked at El Paso, Texas, where the hourly wage for an individual would be $36.18 to live comfortably, which means your salary would be $75,254.180,000 for 2 working adults with 2 children, you would need $180,461 for adults who are raising 2 children. Then they went to Lubbock, Texas, and the hourly wage there was $36.24 in order to live comfortably for a single person, which means your salary would be $75,379. Then the working adults with children, $181,043. Toledo, Ohio was number 4, and that hourly wage would have to be $37.26 for a single adult to live comfortably, which means $77,501 a year. Now, the two adults with the two children, you would need to have $208,416 to live comfortably in Toledo, Ohio. Then there's Laredo, Texas, and that hourly wage for a single adult is $37.72 to live comfortably, which annually that's $78,458. And the working adults with children, $179,046. Milwaukee, Wisconsin also made the list, and it stated that you needed to make $38.30 an hour as a single adult to live comfortably, or again $79,664 a year. And the two adults with two children, $237,952. Number 7 was Lexington, Kentucky. The hourly wage needed for a single adult there to live comfortably would be $38.40 per hour. And the annual salary would have to be $79,997. That's like $80,000. And the combined salaries for two working adults with the two children would have to be $196,000. So that's almost $200,000. Then Tulsa, Oklahoma. The hourly wage that is needed for a single adult would be $38.98. And the annual salary needed for a single adult to live comfortably, $81,078. Combined salaries for two working adults with two children needed is about $200,000. Wichita, Kansas, the hourly wage needed in Wichita, Kansas for a single adult to live comfortably would be $39.04. The annual salary, that runs about $81,203. But the combined salaries for two working adults with two children needed is $186,784. Cleveland, Ohio, the hourly wage needed for a single adult, you need to earn about $39.32 to live comfortably as a single person, $81,786 annually. Now, the combined salaries for two working adults with two children needed was listed at $217,984. These are some amazing numbers, but they went a little bit further and they found the 10 cities with the highest salaries that are needed to live comfortably. Those cities were New York, San Jose, Irvine, California, Santa Ana, California, Boston, Massachusetts, San Diego, California, Chula Vista, California, San Francisco, California, Seattle, Washington, and Oakland, California. Now, in Oakland, California, you need to have $57. You need to be making this hourly in order to live comfortably as a single person. And that's about $118,768 a year. The combined salaries for two working adults with two children, $316,243. In Seattle, Washington, they say you need to earn about $57.40 per hour. If you are two adults with two children, you need about $283,712. Then in San Francisco, California, you need, as two working adults with two children, you need to earn about $339,123 annually. And as a single adult to live comfortably, you need to earn at least $119,558, which is about $57.48 an hour. Now in Chula Vista, California, the hourly wage needed for a single adult is $59.04. And this was the same when it came to San Diego, California. You needed to have your annual income would have to be $122,803. And then for couples, it would be $289,453. In Boston, Massachusetts, oh my goodness, the hourly wage for Boston, in order to live comfortably, would be $60.08 an hour, which would come up to about $124,966 annually. And that means if you are a husband and wife with two children, that's $319,738. In Santa Ana, California, the hourly wage needed for a single adult is $60.96. In order for that person, that single person, to live comfortably, you need to be bringing in about $130,000. Now, the combined salaries for two working adults with the two children is like close to $300,000. Irvine, California, it's the same when it comes to the hourly wage. You need to earn about $60.96 an hour. And combined salaries for two working adults with two children, $291,450. But San Jose, California, in order for a single person to live comfortably, you need to make $65.74 an hour. That is $136,739 annually. So if there are two working adults with two children, that's $334,547. Now, New York City, in order to live comfortably in New York City as a single adult, you need to be earning at least $66.62 per hour. And the annual salary needed for a single adult to live comfortably there would be $138,570. And the combined salaries for two working adults with their two children is $318,406. I am just wondering, what jobs pay this? What jobs are paying this in order for people to be able to afford to live comfortably? Because most of these jobs are just not paying wages like this. There's always an exception to the rule, but this is amazing, and I just don't understand how people are expected to sustain under these circumstances that we are experiencing. I don't want to hear talk about what somebody says the economy should look like. I want to know what it is and how can it be solved, because this is a burden for most of us today. It's ridiculous, the prices that we are paying for basic goods and services. And these, of course, are, once again, research and analysis that was done by Smart Asset. You can go take a look at it yourself. I just found this to be extraordinarily amazing for what we are seeing today. I know in the area in which I live, the cost of housing is through the roof. I've gotten $1,000 light bills. It's amazing to me. And when I look at a breakdown of the charges, that's more amazing, because I only use like $199 for actual electrical service, but they have this other one that they have entitled Power Cost Adjustments. And if you inquire, you are told that this is the cost that they have to pass on to the consumer to stay a part of the electric membership. And it's so unfair, these amazing, unnatural fees, just made up out of the blue, fees that people and companies come up with to charge you so that they can profit off of you. And this stuff is legal. So yeah, I have a problem with what we are experiencing, and I don't think that this stuff is coincidental. But tell me what you think about this subject. Do you think the wages paid locally should reflect the cost of living in your local areas? Be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts on this topic in the comments section. See you next time for another discussion with Dena. Ta-ta!
This concludes your daily discussions with Dena. Join us Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.